How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
What is up, Will?
What up, what up?
Welcome, everybody, to Story of the Fight. My name's Ribeiro. That's my boy, Will. This is where we talk all things combat sports. We are both sporting our gear today, Will. How often does this happen? Story
Very
of the Fight.
rare.
Right? But hey, today we're going to be talking UFC Vegas 104. We're going to be talking my boy Dolidze putting in work. We're going to be talking 9 finishes, I believe it was.
Whoa.
Crazy. But before we do, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It goes a long way. We're trying to reach 20,000 subscribers. We're steadily climbing. And if you don't like watching on YouTube, but you like listening, we got other options.
Yeah, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts if you just want audio. We're also live streaming on Twitch, but YouTube is probably the way to go to watch the actual show. Like Genevieve here, watching on YouTube.
Hey,
like
shout out
Anscow, also here, watching on YouTube.
Anscow.
Because that's where we get to see pictures. We get to see knockouts sometimes. But it's probably the best show on YouTube. And then on socials, it's just storyofthefight.com. We'll list all of them: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch. Story of the Fight on everything is the username. Not Story of the Fight.
We made it easy.
Just Story of the Fight. At Story of the Fight.
We made it super easy.
Yeah.
But yes, UFC Vegas 104. We had Roman Dolidze versus Marvin Vettori. That was the main event. Everybody's scrambling to watch this.
But first, we got to give a quick shout out to the boy, Andrew Toasty.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, got his first pro win last night over at Zhonglu Dragon MMA in I think San Francisco. I was watching it. I bought the pay-per-view. And I was like, let's see my boy, Toasty. Let's see him get it done. First round, on him. Takes his back, drags him down, almost has a rear naked choke in like 30 seconds. Fucking gets out of it, though. Ends up on top. He just literally textbook 10-8 rounds, first round. Dog walked the dude. No disrespect, but dog walked the dude. Beating him up, full mount, ground and pound. Just a very good performance by Toasty. Second round. Hey, everyone's giving love to Toasty. Oh, Toasty's here. Hey, shout out Toasty. The winner.
You didn't even see who was there?
No, I didn't see it yet. Second round. He gets wizard kicked, gets back up, almost gets wizard kicked again. And I was like, okay, he learned from the first one. Can't use the same move twice, right? And then doesn't go for like a lateral drop, but they're up against the fence. He's in on a takedown up against the fence, ends up on bottom, and then I give the round to the other dude. Forgot his name. Felipe, I think. Could be wrong.
Disrespect.
Hey. I remember the winners. You know what I mean? No, just respect. It was a good fight. It was actually a really good fight. And then the third round, I'm like, oh, shit, dude. I doubt they give a 10-8 round, even though it was a 10-8 round in the first. This is probably the deciding round. And then they go out there, and they just swing and bang, dude.
Swinging and banging.
Crazy, dude. Toasty with the left hook just couldn't miss. Damn, I can't remember the other dude's name. Felix, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, Toasty, thanks for reminding us.
Hey, Felix. Okay, yeah. Felix lands a couple big overhand rights. Toasty just eats them for breakfast, dude. And they're just
or dinner.
Yeah, or dinner. It was late. But I thought it was a very clear Toasty round from the output alone. Like there was a couple big shots that Felix landed in that third round, but I thought Toasty was largely picking them apart, right?
But then comes the drama. Like you thought that was drama, then comes the drama.
Yeah. Okay. So it's over. They're doing their thing, right? Commentators like, oh, I think the other dude won. I think Felix won. Oh, I think Toasty. They're split. And then before the cards are read, the other commentator's like, you know what? I'm actually gonna give this one to Andrew. I think Andrew. And it's like, thank fucking God, dude. How is this even a consideration? I thought it was very clear. And then they read out that Felix wins a split decision, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I turned the stream off.
Riots.
This stream.
Riots start.
Yeah. I'm on my way up
to San Francisco. Tables are flipped over. Yeah.
It's only a couple hours. I'll be there. But then all of a sudden, I messaged Toasty on Instagram. I'm like, bro, I don't know what the fuck MMA judges say. Fucking horrible. It is what it is. I thought you fought a great fight, whatever, right? And then like I do the dishes because I left the dishes because I was watching the fight.
Just fucking slamming the dishes, breaking them, dude. Yeah. Katie's getting all pissed.
Broke like 3 plates. And then he messaged me. He's like, dude, they announced the wrong guy. I got the win. And I was like, no fucking way, dude. And then I see a bunch of pictures on social media. Over there. Yeah, they got fucking Toasty back in the cage in a sweatshirt, and they raise his hand. And I'm like, holy shit, dude. Toasty got it. It's fucking
What a
So, yeah.
wild.
Must have been wild. I can't hear you, Ramiro.
Am
Now
I
I
not
can.
coming through? Okay, I was
Now I
gonna say,
can.
what a wild night though. From the third round, the swinging and banging, to the
Yeah.
announcement, Toasty having to get pulled back out there. Man, Toasty
Crazy,
himself
dude.
saying roller coaster ride, roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, and Ganscow says I feel bad for Felix after that. Yeah, because look, it was a hard fought fight. It was a dog fight, and it was a round apiece going into the third. And they announced you as the winner, and then only to pull it back. That does the other side of that coin does suck. As much as it's awesome for Toasty, the other side is pretty brutal.
What's
No
up,
disrespect,
Ghost?
Felix. It was a fantastic fight. If you ever watched this, but we'll have to have Toasty on to talk about it. Hey, shout out Ghost. Thanks for joining. We haven't talked about the amazing card of UFC Vegas 104 yet because we're out here congratulating our boy Toasty for his win last night. First pro win, dude. Let's go.
That's a big deal. That
It's a
is a
huge
big
deal.
deal. Shout out Toasty, man.
Yeah.
You know that the story of the fight, community loves you, Toasty. So shout out to you, man. Super proud of you. All right, but let's get going.
Let's do it.
From
Everybody's
one fantastic
clamoring.
fight, to what I consider to be a pretty decent card, all in all. Will, like, is there a lot of star power in the card? Were there a lot of people just, rushing to view this? Probably not. But if anybody did sit through it, like us, they were like, hey, not bad.
This card would
Decent
have
card.
been this card would have been a great Cage Warriors card or like a B tier promotion card. I'd be like, that was actually they delivered. For this to be the UFC, the premier, the NFL, the MLB of fighting, for them to have only one ranked fight on the card. And I know everyone's like, look, there's a ton of finishes. I'm gonna play the other side, the hater side of this coin, Ramiro. And I'm not gonna harp on it too much because I want it to be a
Ooh.
positive show, right? I don't want to be fucking bringing everybody down. The UFC's like, Apex events suck. They put a tweet out with it's like a capital, lowercase. Apex events suck. And it's like 9 finishes. And you're like, 9 finishes, but one of like that's what happens when we have like no disrespect, but some of these fighters, man. I mean, one of them they had their fifth pro fight on this card. It's like when you have that level of competition or experience, you're going to get a lot of finishes. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're like good fights to watch. When you go to the UFC, you want to see the best fight the best, not people who probably shouldn't even be in the UFC yet. And of course, there's going to be finishes just because, they're not that good yet. So that's my shit on this. While everybody else is like, he's got so many finishes, which is valid. Finishes are cool,
Hey, shout out
but
Blunderbub though. Shout out Austin. Shout out James
yeah,
Kendrick
sure,
as well.
everybody.
Thanks for joining us. But look, it's I get it. It's the UFC. We should be watching the best of the best. But also, like, if I know it's not like an actual pay-per-view event, and I'm just
Mhm.
looking to just purely be entertained, right?
Yes.
In that sense,
Not too bad.
this card
Yeah,
delivered. This card
true.
delivered.
True.
And we can get started with the main event,
Yes.
which was Marvin Vettori, Roman Dolidze. This is their rematch. Both of these guys can grapple, but you said it plenty of times, Will, that matchups, the styles make matchups, and both of
Mhm.
these guys just decided to kind of just stand instead.
Yeah.
And look, dude, it was a back and forth, some eye pokes, some groin kicks,
Oh,
some solid Herb Deans, in between the rounds, giving
bro, like,
warnings. No, look, okay, so the first round, the first thing I noticed, Dolidze expends a lot of energy with a lot of his shots, right?
yeah.
But the good thing is, the fight continued going on, you notice he doesn't go berserk. So in a way, yes, he's expending a lot of power whenever he's throwing, a lot of energy, but he's also not throwing as much as he would in some of his previous fights.
Yes.
Vettori tells Herb Dean in between rounds, like, hey, dude, like, he's going to poke the shit out of my eye. Like, he's coming straight at
Oh.
me. And Herb Dean's like, oh, he is? He's like, yeah. He's like, so he goes over to Roman Dolidze. He's like, hey, you're coming at him with your hands open. Head needs to be like this, right? Shows him palm up, not like this.
Mhm. Yeah.
If
Same,
more
but different.
because if you do it, I'm gonna have to warn you again.
No. That's not what happened. He talks to him in between rounds. Whoa, here we go. He talks to him in between rounds, and the round is delayed. The next round starting is delayed because Herb Dean is giving him what I would consider a hard warning. A hard warning when he says, "Hey, I don't want to. Don't bring me into this. You're doing this, right? The thing that you did, right? Don't fucking do this." To the point where we're now delaying the fight because the warning is so necessary, apparently. And then within 30 to 40 seconds after that, he fucking pokes him in the eye. And Herb's like, well, shit. They all just
No, Herb
watched me
said,
give you a
"This
hard.
is what I was talking about." You heard him,
Yeah. Yeah.
Roman. This is what I was talking about.
This is what I warned you about. So now you know what the repercussions are?
Another
Don't
warning.
do it again. What
Another
are we
warning.
doing, dude? If
Yeah.
if you're delaying the start of the next round, warning a guy about an issue, and then he fucking does that foul 35 seconds later, what are we doing, dude? Take a point. Take a point. They already got
Shout
their
out
warning in the back. They got their
Rio,
warning in
by
the
the way.
cage. Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out everybody. I mean, fucking,
Shout out
it's
Sammy.
just. And look, I like Herb. I think Herb's cool. You know,
Yeah.
clearly need a third fight.
Yeah.
Go says to
Another
build
main
on
event.
Will's point about having a ton of finishes doesn't mean something good or interesting happened. You can get a card with a ton of finishes, but those finishes was against a ton of jabronis. Yeah, and I don't want to disrespect anybody, right? But yeah, that's kind of the point I'm making. But yeah,
but
the
again, to my point though, you look at that card, you look at the fact that like as you're reading the card, there's no star power in there. Even the people that you do recognize, you're like, okay, they're not top tier.
there's only
If
one
you
ranked
decide to
fight.
watch, you're deciding to watch just for pure entertainment at that point, right? Like
True.
you're not going
Yeah,
in there
true.
to see the best fight. But
Expectations
hey,
are low.
Sammy says for Herbilius Dean Maximus taking a point for that. I think he should have.
It's not. It
100%.
shouldn't even be a question at this point. Look, we just had the Herb Dean, or not the Herb Dean. Sorry, the was it Mark Smith with Henry Cejudo? We just had that
Yep.
fight. It ruined a main event of a great fight. I really enjoyed that fight as it was going. We just had the Manel Cop eye raking of Almabayev, and now we're back again. At this
Yep.
point, it's like this is part of the sport. It's an
Yep.
actual legitimate tactic that you can use in the sport. Why punch someone in
Rio-
the face when I can eye poke them first?
Rio says might as well fail multiple times because there are no repercussions. 100%, and that's why they do it. And even Bisping, who is through and through a company guy, right? Like
Yeah.
there's no more company guy. Well, maybe I don't know,
DC's
but
up
yeah, DC's up there. But Bisping even said like, hey, at this point, just take a point away for eye pokes, and you will see eye pokes dramatically reduce. If on the first eye poke you just take a point, and he's absolutely right.
Well, at this point, it shouldn't be whether it's accidental or not. Like it needs to be a point taken if if carelessness leads to an eye poke. A point needs to go. If it's in a grappling exchange or something, and you're pulling out of the tie clinch and you're pushing off or something, maybe you don't take a point there. But on these types of instances where someone's coming in and you frame off and you poke them in the eye, no, don't frame like that anymore. Frame with the fist. Use your head movement. Do something else. Frame off their chest. Because at this point, people can be lackadaisical with it because it's legitimately helping them win fights. Literally, we've had 3. Is it in a row? It's not in a row. No. We had one event in between, I think. It's fucking crazy. And I'm tired of talking about eye pokes. I want to talk about fights. But we have to keep talking about it because it keeps happening in like main events.
Over and over and over. So
crazy.
anyways, third round, Vettori cracks Dolidze with a big left. Dolidze gets wobbled, right? You could see he's desperation mode, shoots for a leg, trying to grab on for dear life. Do you think Vettori pressured enough after that?
Yes, and here's what the commentary didn't say. I think he cracks him with the left, which was working for most of the fight. He hurts him. He rushes in. He starts trying to tag him. Dolidze cracked him good. There was 2 exchanges. He hurt him once. He follows him up against the fence. He hurts him again up against the fence. He escapes, and then they clash again. Dolidze cracks him, and he takes a step back. And from that point on, he was like, maybe I'm not going to chase. And I think that was poker face Vettori saying, I don't want to get too gassed trying to finish this fight. I thought he got cracked and was like, hold on. I need to chill myself here. So I don't blame him for not getting the finish there. Also, I don't think he's ever gotten a finish. Has he ever TKO'd anybody or KO'd anybody? Oh, shit. Where's my dark
Not
moon?
that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't think he ever has. Not in the
Let's
UFC,
see
at
here.
least.
Decision.
Jack Mason back in 2015.
Decision. Carl Robertson in 2020. Rear naked choke.
Okay, yeah, but he's never with strikes. I mean,
No.
yeah.
He's a decision machine, huh?
Blunderbuff makes a good point. He said guidance must be pretty muddy regarding eye pokes and rules and stuff like that. Herbert one
Yep.
gives yellow cards and takes points away decisively, usually following one strong warning. Yeah, he's way quicker to punish for fouls in one. And he even alluded to that in the Marab versus Sean O'Malley fight when they were like, why'd you stand him up? And he's like, well, there's certain things that like they want the sport to look a certain way. And he kind of alluded to the fact that they get heavily suggested on how they should be officiating fights. And
yes, because
clearly
Herb Dean, I think I said in the last episode, Herb Dean in one, phenomenal.
He's much better.
And look, Herb Dean's already a very, very good ref, but put him in one, dude, and he is solid. Him and Olivier Coste together, money.
Dream team right there.
For real. James Kendrick saying, was this fight bad? It seemed like the same exchange over and over again, like most WMMA fight, women's MMA fights. Look, I'll say this, because if you've listened in the past, I'm a Dolidze fan. And the reason I'm a Dolidze fan is because he's just like a wild man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in the fourth round, he starts putting more pressure on, and he's throwing like the most unconventional shots. Like he throws this right, and he misses. And as Vettori's coming in for the counter, he's like, "Bop!" And he
Bro,
just
that's
like,
his go-to.
like backhands him, and then like even Vettori like gets hit and like backs off and just laughs, dude. He's like,
yeah.
Did I really
He's
just
like,
get
what
hit
the
with
fuck,
that,
dude?
bro? What are we doing? But that's why I love watching Roman Dolidze, because
Yeah.
it's just entertaining. It's hilarious.
Yeah. We've talked about it before.
I wouldn't say it was a bad fight. It was just like I won't go back and rewatch it.
No. It could have been a lot worse. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. I thought it was smart. Vettori just had shoulder surgery, and apparently, word on the street is that he still has issues with that shoulder. I almost put some money on the boy, Dolidze, because he was an underdog, and I was like, Vettori can't lift his arm. Okay, well, but then I didn't because I never do.
Hey, who are you, Will Krause over here, dude? Okay,
what?
Fucking using insider info for betting.
But I thought,
hanging out with DJs.
I think Dolidze's camp probably also heard that because the high kick, he just kept blasting that high kick. And if you know somebody can't raise their arm, blasting that high kick is probably great. Oh yeah, he forgot his cup. I forgot Vettori.
So good,
dude.
Shout out Ganscow for that one.
Yeah, Vettori is something else, man. The shorts on backwards, the fucking missing the cup, walking out there, and they're like, "Oh shoot!" As they're doing the final check-in, they realize he doesn't have the cup. He gets kicked in the nuts in the fight. Thank God they
very good thing that he had a cup.
Yeah.
That would have been a disaster.
Yeah, this fight was just the embodiment of a middleweight main event at the Apex. It was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
And it was fine.
Well, nothing else for me for this fight. Shout out to Dolidze. He's probably going to be jumping Vettori moving into that 8th spot. He's calling out a top 5 fighter now, saying, give me Adesanya or give me Whitaker.
Yeah. Whitaker fight, maybe. I think Whitaker is rumored to be fighting Bahalio. As Dolidze, dude, every time I see Dolidze, we've always talked about Dolidze.
Paul Craig.
Dolidze fights. We've said this before. Dolidze fights like Paul Craig stare downs. Just Paul Craig and stare downs he's mean mugging. He's in your face. He's got the Braveheart paint. He looks so threatening, and then he's like, jump into my guard. He's like pulling guard in the fight. Dolidze fights like that. Not a ton of fight IQ, but just like forward pressure,
dude,
trying to throw bombs. That's what you would expect from the stare downs of Paul Craig. And man, they look so similar. So similar.
Yeah. Sammy asking, how does Big Doll versus Rob Whitaker go? I don't know, man. I still think that Whitaker's at another level at this point.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of things he could take advantage of Whitaker. I don't see Dolidze getting through Whitaker.
But give him to him.
I think Whitaker's potentially got Bahalio.
So if we go middleweight right now, scrolling. Here it is. We have Jared Cannonier, Bahalio, Whitaker, Adesanya, Hamzat, Sean Strickland, Nasruddin Imavov versus Dricus du Plessis. So the only one that you could really do would be Adesanya if Whitaker and Bahalio are booked.
What the fuck happened at middleweight, bro? What? Oh my god, dude! That just broke my brain. How stupid all this
Here's
is.
a question for you, Will, from the
Yeah.
Jack Slack. Is middleweight a logjam right now?
A little bit because they fucked it up by doing Strickland versus Duplessis too.
Mm.
We didn't need that. We could have gotten Hamzat versus Duplessis, and we could have been moving things along instead at the top. We're like, let's do an unnecessary rematch, which in hindsight was extremely unnecessary after the fight happened. We just didn't need that, and instead we just kind of shut everything down at the top,
Yeah.
which is pretty fucking annoying.
Give me Sean Strickland versus Dolidze.
God, dude. And that's like
All right.
that's like a top 5 ranked fight. Jesus Christ,
We
dude.
spent way more time on the main event than I thought we would spend on any
Yeah.
fight on this card. Let's go and move
It
on.
broke
Now.
my
We had
spirit,
the
dude.
co-main event.
Yeah.
We had the co-main event.
This
we
was
had
fun.
Njokuani versus Zaleski dos Santos. Njokuani
Yeah.
missing weight for this one, I believe. For his what is this? His third fight at
Yeah,
welter.
this is his return to welter, right? He was at middleweight for a bit.
Looking thin.
I know he's back at welterweight for a while. Fuck, what am I even doing?
Yeah, I think this is his third fight.
Yeah, third fight back at welterweight. Well, he was welterweight back in the day too. Yeah, he missed weight. Not cool. Don't do that. If you're gonna miss weight against someone who's tested positive for steroids, I guess. And that is Dos Santos.
The great equalizer.
Yeah. If you're gonna take steroids, I'm gonna miss weight. But it was a fun fight. It was a fun action fight. Chidi Bang Bang, dude, one of my favorite nicknames. This guy comes to throw down every single time. Long punching.
Deep kicks for Njokuani.
Yeah,
money.
Exactly. Long attacks, perfect against someone like Dos Santos who wants to stay on the outside and circle and throw some unorthodox shit. Yeah, just stab him while he's on the outside and just stop him in his tracks. Go says he asked for this. He asked us on the fight site, Fight Companion, are Chidi and Dos Santos high risk, low reward fighters at 170? Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Both action fighters. They both come to take people's heads off, and that's what you want sometimes. And
Yeah,
you know,
so in this case, they get in close quarters. We have Dos Santos swinging and missing. Njokuani does a great job grabbing onto the back of his head as Zaleski is exiting out and catches him with the left knee on the exit. What
was cool is he throws the right knee first, misses, but as he's whipping him, he jumps up with the right. As he's bringing the right down, he uses that as leverage to pull up the left. Left catches him as he's pulling his head back. And so, yeah, if you get hit while you're moving away, sometimes that can really rock you. And it caught him like right on the cheekbone, it looked like. And he just flash knocked down. And dude, the follow-up shot, because he was back, right? He was back conscious once he hit the ground. And Chidi just fucking runs through him and meets him with like a fucking straight punch, dude, which just like how he strikes on the stand-up. Runs through him with a punch, knocks him over with it, and then just fucking puts him out.
Barrage
it was a cool
elbows
performance
after that too, huh?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Chidi. He's
shout out, I think, from Garland, Texas too, which is pretty close over here. So shout out Njokuani. All right. Now we can move on to the next one. We're going to be covering Alexander Hernandez versus Kurt Holobaugh.
Yeah, this was a fun fight. Hernandez is one of those fighters too that when he came onto the scene, up until that Cowboy fight, it was like, oh, we got something here, dude. This guy's very obviously very talented, very skilled. He's got a lot of skills. He's a pretty fighter, right? The way he fights is very like aesthetically pleasing. He knows like the ins and outs, things like that. But then just like that Cowboy fight, he just beat it out of him. And then ever since then, it's just kind of been a struggle, right? He changed weight classes. Now he's back at lightweight. And then on the flip side, Kurt reminds me of like a new age Forrest Griffin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just like an everyman fighter. He puts things together in kind of like standard ways, but his work rate is sick, and he'll use that against you. And in this fight, it really looked like he was starting to just avalanche on Hernandez, and Hernandez just couldn't get away. And then he started mixing the grappling, and that was a huge difference maker.
Yeah, and James Kendrick, is Alexander Hernandez a low time gatekeeper? You know what? That's so funny because I do see him as being one of those guys where, like, the newer fighters that are up and coming. You mentioned those fighters, Will, that are like coming in at 5-0 or 7-0.
Mhm.
If they beat an Alexander Hernandez, then for me it's like, okay, they made the next tier.
Yeah. Yeah,
What
I
would you
agree.
consider Alexander Hernandez, like a tier 2,
He would be a tier 2. Yeah.
right?
Not a tier 1, but definitely, yeah, tier 2.
Yeah. So no, that's a really good way to look at him there, James Kendrick, for sure. But yeah, technical striking from Hernandez, good combos throughout the fight. Holobaugh did seem to have more power. Anytime he did land, he seemed to connect with more power. But then the wrestling for Hernandez was the biggest
Yeah.
difference maker in this
And
fight as well. So
one of the things with that power too is also just it's the work rate, but it's also just the like meanness. And sometimes it sounds stupid, but sometimes meanness can close that gap if you
mm,
can put it together. If someone's clean and technical, and they're like kind of surgical in there, but they're not like I wouldn't necessarily say Anthony or Alexander Hernandez is like super vicious with his striking, you know? So if
so
you
would you
can
say
kind of just
aggression for Holobaugh?
aggression from Holobaugh is good, really good, and just that if he's trying to do some slick shit, just stay on him. You know what I mean? And you can bridge
Yeah,
that gap a little bit. If you start grabbing the head and start banging him like that, you can close that technical gap. The problem is once he started building that avalanche, Hernandez was able to use that forward pressure and land some pretty sick reactive takedowns on him that he's kind of just walking in on. Um, so you have to. There's just such a balance, You can't go too. You can't just snowball too much because you're gonna walk into some takedowns if you're
yeah,
fighting a tier 2 guy like Hernandez. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
for sure, for sure. Good call.
And then the other downside, the reason that works against Holobaugh so much is because Holobaugh is very game to work off his back and start hunting submissions. And if you're composed on top like Hernandez was in this fight, you're not going to get caught in triangles and things like that. It's not happening. So you end up fighting yourself a little bit, trying to shoot for submissions and things like that, because what you should be doing is trying to escape, get back on your feet because you're tagging him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because you have so much faith in your jiu-jitsu, it starts to kind of work against you a little bit.
Rio saying, can aggression and meanness take you far in MMA? I think that every era and every generation has had some form of that, right?
Yeah.
Like a Lieben, and then maybe like a Mike
Hey, that's my
Perry,
guy. Yeah.
and then
It
there's.
depends. It depends what far. You got to quantify far. Do you mean a belt?
I was gonna
Or
say it
yeah,
won't get you a title, but it might get you a lengthy career
hmm
where you get some fun fights. You might lose a
some
couple,
bonuses.
then win a couple, then lose a couple, then win a couple. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, there's some guys who are just pure mean, and like that did work very well for. I think over time as MMA like evolves and stuff like that, it starts to you know that dwindles a little bit, and it takes you less far.
yes,
But there's always somebody. There's always
yeah,
somebody.
for sure.
Look at Darren Elkins, right? That dude's still fighting, and he's
Good
still getting
example.
wins every once in a while. And
Good
you could
example.
say, like I said, it depends on how you quantify far, because some people will say, well, yeah, but you know, what has he accomplished? It's like, well, he's accomplished a lot of wins, a lot of
Yeah,
bonuses. He's lost a lot, and he's lost a lot, but
the damage.
the damage, that adds up. But
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
meanness can take you far. You just
All
gotta know how
right,
to use it.
we will move on. We had Damon Blackshear versus Cody Gibson.
God, some of these
Fun first
fights,
round,
huh?
man. Gibson, relentless pressure. Nice job with his entries. I really love the fact that, he was mixing it up. He come
Mix
up
it up
top with a
well.
right hook, left hook, and then on his next entry, it was like jab to the body and he come up top. Like, so he was just
Yeah,
keeping Damon off rhythm a little bit. Damon seemed to have a hard time figuring out his distance because Cody was just pressuring the entire time and
yeah.
had those blitzing entries. Takes him down, but then Damon
Dude,
almost lands at Doris.
Blackshear's good on the ground, man.
He
He's
is.
sneaky on the ground, and I really, really like Cody Gibson. I actually really liked this fight. This matchup is such a cool. I thought it was a really cool matchup.
It was a fun fight.
Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, Cody Gibson just putting it all together on the feet, and then he mixes in the takedown. I'm like, normally, yeah, but Blackshear he is good on the ground, man. He's sneaky on the ground. Not many people get twisters. um,
Yeah.
and then yeah, he almost gets the choke in the first round, but Cody does a great job defending. But then yeah, to hit a Kimura in the UFC, it's rare these days. The fact that we got two 2 in the UFC on one event back to back is crazy because that's a tough one to pull off. But I think Cody was kind of slowing down just a little bit too, leading up to that to the finish.
Well, I think
But I
Blackshear
thought,
also started figuring out that range in the second round. He
definitely.
started tagging Cody a lot more.
Mhm.
Cody has to, at this point, I feel like, go for the takedown, even though if I'm Cody
Yeah.
and I go through that first round, I'm like, dang, that was pretty close a couple times. Like, I might want to keep it standing. Maybe he did try to keep it standing, then he was like, I'm getting caught. Better
Could
off
be.
taking down. And
Mhm.
then Blackshear just like, all right, this is cool. I don't mind it going down the ground.
Yeah, fun fight though. I actually really enjoyed this one. I like both these guys a lot.
Agreed, my friend. All right, we will move on. Dude, at this point, we're kind
Austin
of just
said
blazing, huh?
yeah,
Jeez.
Austin said big Gibson fans was super bummed for him, not gonna lie. He started so good too. Yeah, I don't know what it is I like about him so much, but I really like him. He just seems like a cool dude.
He does.
Yeah.
Dude, he kind of reminds me of Darren Elkins, like a younger Darren Elkins with not so
Doesn't
much damage on him yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't take as much damage as Elkins,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
just his work rate is very cool, and yeah, he's a good guy. I like him.
Yeah. All right, we also had Nurgozhay versus Ribeiro.
Yeah, and Nurgozhay, man, I think
What
this
was
is.
that little joke you made, dude? That was a good one.
I said Nurgozhay, more like nervous guy.
Yeah,
It's so stupid.
dude. I'm sitting on the couch and I read that yesterday, and I'm like, that was good.
Okay, that's so stupid. But yeah, they talked about his tick, right, where he has to like wipe his eye and stuff. And I don't know if it's maybe compensating for that. I haven't seen a ton of his fights or anything like that. This is his UFC debut, but he's undefeated. People were talking about him going into this, so I checked out a little bit. But he has this like nonchalant kind of energy a little bit while he's in there, and I don't know if it's like compensating maybe for something. And I was thinking the whole fight, I was thinking, I'm like, this guy's undefeated. He's got this nonchalant, like the way he's hand fighting and stuff, and like the way he's reacting to things. He's almost like, nah, that's nothing. Nah, that's nothing. I'm cool off this. And it's like, hey man, this is like that could be take advantage at this point. That things like that, you got to sharpen that up. You can't just be doing that because people will be able to take advantage of that.
Yes.
And yeah, I think especially in the apex, dude, it's small. Like guys are gonna get on you. You have to be on your shit. Like you can't just be like
100%, man.
lazy parrying stuff. Like, you just can't.
It was also a bit of a slow start to the fight in general.
Yeah.
There's this one point where Ribeiro throws a 1-2, takes a step back, waits for Nurgozhay to come in. And as Nurgozhay is coming in, like on his back foot, throws a 1-2 again and absolutely cracks Nurgozhay.
Yeah.
Nurgozhay at some point tries to take Ribeiro's back, but Ribeiro, while he's reaching back to try to avoid having his back taken, kind of just cinches in the Kimura.
Mm-hmm.
And you had alluded to a couple Kimuras being hit in the same card wheel. This was the other one.
Yeah, this was the other one. He uses the Kimura to sweep him. And, people are going to clown on Dominic Cruz for this one because it was very similar to the can't lift here slam knockout. But he was kind of right about this one. This one should not have been hit. The way he set this up and got the sweep, it shouldn't have worked. And it maybe tells you about the level of what this card was. And I saw already people are clowning on Dominic Cruz for saying like, this is not going to work right now. And then it working. But it shouldn't have. Shouldn't have.
Was it Dom Cruz or was it Bisping?
It could have been. I think it was Cruz.
Okay, because Bisping during this also said he lost it. There, it's gone. He lost it, and then
maybe it was Bisping.
And then Nurgozhay tapped right after that, and Dom was the one afterwards. I was like, "Yeah, see, I told you." He grabbed it. He was setting it up, because Dom was talking to it, and Bisping was the one that was like, "Nah, dude."
Well, once he got the sweep, it was like, okay, yes, he can finish here, but he shouldn't have gotten the sweep. That sweep should not have worked, but
dude,
it did.
So funny. All right, we will move on.
Blood says extremely funny that someone on this card had that specific tick, considering how the main event went. Just acting like he got eye poked the whole time.
Yeah, and then Ghost saying, "Do you guys like it when Cruz has an on-air spat with his cohorts?"
I don't.
Look, I think that Dominic Cruz, from the time that he first started commentating to now, is so much better now.
He has gotten better.
Dominic Cruz with a play-by-play analyst and him being the color commentator, just the two, I think is the best Cruz.
That worked really well.
The best version
What
of
card was
Cruz.
that?
I think it was a couple of them ago with
I think it was the
was it
Manel
Fitzgerald
Cop.
and Cruz?
Yeah, and I thought it was Anik. Anik was
Anik and Cruz.
I don't know.
But
Who knows?
dude, it was the best version of Cruz I had ever heard. When you start getting a Bisping and a Cruz in there, or a DC and a Cruz in there, because Cruz I feel like has to be the smartest guy in the room sometimes, and has to be like, well, you're not seeing what I'm seeing, type of deal, right?
Yeah.
And so it causes some friction sometimes.
Mhm.
But dude, he
John
having by
Anik-
himself,
Yeah, Anik and Fitzgerald, they're gonna let him be that guy.
they're
'Cause-
pros. They know what they're doing.
They're actual broadcasters.
So good, dude. So good.
Yeah.
And Fitzgerald even tease him up sometimes. You know, he'd be like, hey, so blah,
100%.
blah, blah. So am I looking at the right thing here, Cruz? And then Cruz is
It's
like,
no, you
oh,
fucking
dude,
idiot.
he asked me. Yeah, like, let me tell you what you should be seeing, Fitzgerald. You know what I mean?
I'm about to impress so many people with my knowledge.
But he has gotten a lot better. He has gotten a lot better.
Yeah. But yeah, the on-air spats, I'm not a huge fan of it.
Nah.
And if it's gonna happen in between rounds or in between fights or something, because I'm a firm believer that the commentary should be describing the fight to you, so that if you walk out of the room, you still know exactly what's happening as you're listening from the kitchen or something as you grab another slice of pizza.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it sounds like
I breathe
something like that happened
Come
recently.
on.
All right. We also had Seung Choi versus Kevin Vallejos or Vallejos.
Yeah,
however
what's
you
up with
decide
that?
to pronounce it. I don't know, dude.
I didn't know. Maybe in Argentina they just pronounce it differently. I don't know.
Maybe. I know that they do have a little bit of a different accent right there, you know. So
Vallejos.
Mexico, Vallejos would definitely be the way to pronounce it. But Vallejos, maybe Argentina. I don't know. So if any Argentinians are on the chat right now, please let us know the proper pronunciation. But either way, these two guys did fight. So Vallejos sitting on that right-hand counter. Dude, by the way, looked like a huge size difference. With Choi.
Huge size difference, dude.
Jeez.
They talked about it too. They're like, yeah, I don't know if Vallejos this is the division for him. He packed on muscle, this and that. But the skill is definitely there, and that will bridge the gap for a bit at least, because man, that's inside slip under the cross to then roll out
good,
to your right hand. Oh,
just
so
comes
nice.
Up with that. James, thank you so much. He says, my friend Fino, who is from Argentina, said it's not je. So thank you. God, putting that to rest. Vallejos it is.
Yeah, I texted you. I was like, yeah, I gotta go eat some tortillas.
Dude, you were on fire last night, bro. No. You were on fire.
That's what Apex cards do to me, dude.
Apex will, dude. That's a
That's so
a new character unlocked. But there's him rolling under the cross.
Here's the slip. So here's the slip, and then there's the roll to the outside to throw that right hand. Fucking sick, dude.
Hey, good job on these screenshots, Will. Look at that.
Yeah, that's what the Apex
it's like
does.
You're actually watching it.
Yeah, we're about to get flagged, Rich. Chill.
Yeah.
UFC's gonna auto detect that as us watching the fight.
Oh man.
But and then the follow-up shots were
nice
good too.
Performance.
It was cool.
Was that Vallejos' first UFC fight?
He fought Jean Silva. That's his only loss.
That was in Contender Series. So this was his official debut.
Yeah.
What a nice debut.
Very good debut.
But he's stocky. Throws a lot of power behind his shots. Good timing on his counters.
Cool
backflip. Yeah, dude, solid backflip. I didn't think he was going to land it at first until he whipped his legs. And I was like, okay.
Dude, no, the way that it took him so long to set it up that I was like, I don't think he's like confident in this backflip. And we just had a backflip fall in one last week. Sammy says, you guys fans of B-dubs like the screen? No, and I usually try to crop the UFC sponsors out of the screenshots, and I just didn't this time. But I fucking hate Buffalo Wild Wings.
Really?
I'm
not a Wingstop kind of guy myself. I like Wingstop more than Buffalo Wild Wings.
I'm not a huge wing guy in general, so I get like burgers, and the burgers there fucking suck, dude.
And Will, the only one that's judging Buffalo Wild Wings
by the burgers. Look, dude, if you're gonna have them, Escaristas, but the cheese curds.
Oh my god, so funny. And Evie saying one did that guy dirty by posting the fail on Instagram. 100%. That was like one of their highlight posts. So funny. All right.
Got it, dude. You got it.
Let's move on, dude.
Yeah.
We had Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Ryan Spann. I believe, was this Ryan Spann's debut at heavyweight?
Yeah.
And they
And this
told him,
one,
like, hey, now you don't have to worry so much about your weight. And Ryan Spann took that seriously.
yeah.
And I'm sure that he's still in good, like, cardiovascular shape, maybe. But this is probably, I'm not used to seeing Ryan Spann like that.
No, dude. One of the best wheel kicks I've ever seen. He tried to throw. Man, I just don't understand. Every time Waldo Cortes-Acosta fights, it just blows my mind that it seems like nobody has watched his fights when they fight him. Because all this dude does is walk forward and plant heavy on his lead leg and try to throw that overhand right or a big left hook, and he digs in with that lead leg. And it's like, why is nobody kicking his legs? He should not be getting away with this. But he does. Yeah, it's like timestamp, guys. Does everyone hate Waldo Cortes-Acosta for acting like an arrogant bobblehead? I don't like him. I'll be honest. I'm not a fan. I don't like the way he fought. Was it Arlovsky that he fought? Where he was like taunting him the whole time, and it was just like, bro, you're not doing anything. Yeah, it was Arlovsky. He was like being pissed. He like wanted to counter, and he was pissed at Arlovsky. Ganska says, I miss the nostalgia of watching Anderson Silva KO people while I eat B-dubs.
So there's like an emotional attachment for
There's an
Ganska
emotional
to B-dubs, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ganska, the real question is, how are their burgers, though? That's what everybody wants to know. But yes, look, Spann looking a little bit bigger now. Overall, it was a pretty sloppy fight. The fight was stopped multiple times for different types of fouls. Acosta finally lands a jab, followed by a left hook, which drops Spann. Spann, you could tell, man, it was one of those where he gets hit with it and his eyes roll to the back of his head. He falls back. He's still conscious at that point. And then the ref, I believe it was Mark Mathiel's, finish him. And Acosta just comes with like 3 straight shots.
Those were nasty.
Yeah.
Those were nasty. Yeah, that left hook drops him. He falls down.
And in classic, by the way, like Ryan Spann gets destroyed, demolished by those last shots. And those are like the types of last shots that you're like, ugh, like unnecessary.
We didn't need those.
But in classic Dom Cruz fashion, he's like, hey, props to the ref for giving him every opportunity to survive.
Yeah, well, he's unconscious in guard. We definitely needed that.
So funny,
God,
man.
dude.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
New fighter name just dropped, Rich, but the cheese curds Bustos are for sure, 100%. 100%. But yes, that was it for the Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Ryan Spann fight. Well, did you have anything else on this?
No.
No? Okay, thank you. Do you hate this fight more or B-dubs?
I'll take a burger at B-dubs over this, dude.
Oh, dang. Okay. Pretty serious about not liking that fight.
That's how we rank fights from now on? Would you rather watch this or eat a burger? Are we talking
B-dubs or...
Bro, every time we cover these Apex cards, dude, we go off the rails.
I know. I'm so sorry to everybody that's listening right now. I apologize. If this is your first time tuning in, it's usually not like this. My apologies. But yes, we also had Su Young Yu versus AJ Cunningham.
Yeah,
who
no,
was
we're
also
not
like a great value Ian Gary.
We're actually skipping this one.
Oh, okay. So we're not covering that one. Carlos Vera, not
there we
not
go.
going to cover that one. Are we?
We sent you the list, Ramiro. Come on.
Oh, man. I don't know, dude. I don't know what the heck's going on right now. Look, dude. Vera with some solid kicks right off the bat. Musasa lands a calf kick. But as his leg swings, right? Vera's leg swings from getting hit with that calf kick. As soon as he posts that leg down, he comes up with a spinning, spinning heel kick?
Yeah, he cracks him with it. And he kind of landed a little bit more like calf on the face than like heel that you want to land with that heel. But it still definitely woke him up a bit. Musasa was like, oh, shit. But yeah, you get that with like, there it is. You get that with like Taekwondo guys, right? Where they're used to that like slappy kicks off the legs and like using that against you or like just building off of that. And yeah, it was very cool to see his leg get kicked as it swings back. He just plants it down and keeps spinning around and uses that as the kick.
Yeah,
for the
super
wheel kick.
creative.
Really cool.
And then you see that and you're like, okay, he's creative with his kicks. Right. I
Yeah.
wonder what else he has up his sleeve.
Oh, he's got a couple things. Classic throw your rear hand over the top. He slips it. Musasa slips it. I think there's a picture of it, Rich, the setup for it. There it is. You throw your big right hand, your rear hand, and then you use that momentum to then flick that right leg up. And Musasa was there for it, dude.
And then right after this, Herb Dean clapped his hands and said, "Go to work."
Yeah. Come on. Work.
Work. But yes, good combo. And he jumps straight into taking his back, sinks in the rear naked choke. At first, he sinks it in, and you're like, oh, that's tight. Then he fights the handoff.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, he might get out of this. And he lets go. And he just lets go like God, dude. And he just gets choked out right after that, man.
Yeah.
Real quick. So
I do like Carlos Vera. I know a lot of people when he was on Ultimate Fighter were like, this guy's got no future. He's old. I like him. I think we can have some fun fights with him. I think he's got a fun I like his team. He's got Ton Lee and Ryan Hall in his corner. I like all those guys. It's just we could see some fun stuff from Carlos Vera. I think this is a cool performance. This is something like this is one of those, like, in my opinion, highlights of the card, because I know some people will not be super happy with the way he sometimes he falls, he collapses into guard, and he like wants you to jump in his guard and stuff like that. And a lot of people hate stuff like that, but he does some cool things that you can like pick out. He's not, I don't know if he's going to go on like an undefeated tour and get the belt or anything like that, but in his fights, I think there's always going to be, there's always going to be though things to pull from his performances, I think. And I think that's worth watching sometimes. They don't all have to be guys who you think are going to get the belt.
Pequeño, by the way, which means little.
Pequeño. I like it.
Yeah. All right. What's the next fight we're going to cover? Because obviously I didn't pay attention to that text message you sent. Are we going to cover Hughes versus Luciano?
Nope.
All right. We'll skip that. André Lima versus Daniel Barez. There we go.
We are going to cover that.
Dude, Lima, just a hunter.
Dude.
The entire time. Jeez, dude.
Great performance by Lima. No cheating in this one that I saw. The one where he got bit. Of course, everybody's talking about the bite, but the hat's cool. He got bit that one time, but he was cheating a whole lot in that fight. That maybe you cheat, and then all of a sudden you get bit. But in this fight, I thought he was very clean. I thought he was he had a good arsenal that he brought. He's jabbing, he's hooking, he's going to the body, he's leg kicking. Like, I mean, poor fucking Daniel Barez, dude, just didn't know what the fuck was coming at him. He just really good performance.
Overwhelming, huh?
Yeah, and overwhelming with volume and variety. Like, this is a fight you can show people and say, hey, this is you. If you can pull this shit off, this is like, if you're a coach watching Lima and you're watching this fight, you got to be just like, look at him put it all together. This is a flow state type fight. Just a fucking very good performance.
Yeah, very lopsided, huh? One of the most lopsided fights I feel like I've seen in a while. Probably could have been stopped a little bit earlier too. Like, if it would have been stopped when that Barez was up against the cage, and Lima's just unloading, I wouldn't have been upset with that stoppage.
Yeah, me neither.
But hey, props to the ref for giving him every chance to fight back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't necessarily think this is the case, but I saw people commenting online and stuff talking about how it seemed like Lima was throwing some pity takedowns of like, dude, I'm beating this guy up a little bit too much. Let me just take him down and I'll grapple him at this point. I don't think that was the case, but that kind of tells you the type of fight it was. That people are even saying that.
Yep. All right.
But really good performance by Lima. I'm excited to continue watching him.
And we will move on. We had Priscila Cachoeira versus Josiane Nunes.
Bro, normally it's Nunes that hits like a truck. But in this one.
Yeah, this was a fun fight. Like, the matchmakers putting this together, solid.
Yeah, also no cheating in this one from Cachoeira. Normally she's cheating a bunch in her fights, and I hate her. But in this fight, she fought clean.
They are both very scary.
They swang, dude. They swang, they
bang.
Yeah.
100%.
Go says bus driver uppercut, boys. Just, I love a good one, dude. You know, look, was it Mark Hunt, Roy Nelson was a great one. Derek Lewis, Curtis Blades. Just those one-shot uppercuts that just fucking put people out cold. They're so
like
gnarly,
out.
Yeah. And they look like they're just devastated. Look at Sal D'Amato back there. He's like, what the fuck?
Look, yeah, it looks like he has his hands up like, no.
He did.
Stop.
He did. He reacted to the knockout pretty big, dude. Big reactions from a judge. He's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Blunderbow says, "Dirty boxing collar tie uppercut, my favorite." I've said it before. It is very cool, dude. We just had Gaethje versus Fiziev, right?
Yep.
Where you can, if you notice somebody ducking, you can just, as they duck, just grab the top of
Help
their
them
head
duck
and just
right into
fucking
your fist.
bam. Yeah, so cool.
Cachoeira, big knockout afterwards, talking about like her, what was it, like crack addiction and how fighting saved her life.
I missed that. Jesus Christ.
Asking for a bonus so that she can open up an institute to help people back in Brazil. But dude, she goes off staring at the camera for a while, and I felt bad for Fabiano, who had to translate like an hour's worth, like in one shot. But man, what a knockout! What a knockout! All right, we will move on. We had Carly Judice versus Younessi Duben.
Yes. This is another quick one. But this is also kind of what we're talking about earlier.
Dude,
I think Judice, this was her 5th fight.
the pretty question mark kick though that she starts off with.
I mean, dude, look, it was a cool fight. It's just at this point where one of them was 6-0 and the other was 3-2. And this is the UFC we're talking about here. It's just, but that being said, I will say Judice looked very good in this fight. She clearly understands the open stance matchup. She was just, that left hand was a straight up piston. She just kept throwing it, and then the rear leg weapon is also just, that's like what you want to see. If you're a southpaw fighting an orthodox fighter, you want to see them spamming that left hand. You want to see them spamming that left kick, and she was, and it worked fucking flawlessly. She cracked her with that shin, dude. She faced the shin, dude. And then the follow-up shots were vicious too. It was very cool
tough,
knockout.
Yes, it was. It was good performance from Judice, and that was it. Will, we made it through UFC Vegas 104. We did it, boys.
We did it. And thank you all for making it with us, because
yeah, actually, we were not gonna lie, a little concerned going into this one because like, who's gonna want to talk about UFC Vegas 104? And y'all showed up for your boys. Greatly appreciate it. Made it super
very
fun.
much appreciated.
But moment of silence. What fights did we lose?
Oh man, yeah, moment of silence. You must think like, oh damn it, I was gonna set this up like, you must think with what we ended up with, we probably lost a lot of good fights. No, we lost one fight. But I actually was excited for it because I like Evan Elder a lot, and it's been a while since we had him. But he got rebooked for a different fight, so not the end of the world. I do really like Evan Elder though.
Bonuses. Did Cachoeira end up getting a bonus after she asked for it?
Let's see. What do we got for bonuses? Yes.
Oh,
got a bonus.
Look
at that. She got a bonus for her bus driver uppercut.
Parabéns.
Yeah, who else got one?
Dinero.
Lima got one for his flow state beatdown. Much deserved. Carlos Vera got one for his high kick knockout. Very cool. Oh, not knockout. But and then Judy's got one as well. A lot of high kicks this card, which is cool. And it's very telling when there's no fight of the night bonus.
But you know what? It's kind of cool though that they were able to give the same amount out, but more of the finishes.
True. I think I mean, we're a long time. Every finish should get a bonus in our eyes.
Absolutely. Everybody was asking for bonuses last night, huh?
That's what happens when they don't get paid.
That's right. All right. So that's all we had. UFC Vegas 104. Do we have anything next week?
Yeah. Yes, we do. Midnight Pacific time. So Saturday night, but it's really Sunday morning. We've got 172, which is a fucking insane card. We're going to be doing a fight companion for it. We will be live streaming starting at midnight Sunday morning, Saturday night, right at the in between Saturday and Sunday. We'll be starting with a fight companion, do the whole show. So if you're watching that card, if you're staying up late, it's going to be a sick ass card. It really is like event of the year type potential. I wish more people were talking about it because it's fucking crazy. But yeah, we'll be doing a watch party for that. So join in if you're going to be watching it live. Watch it with us because I think those overnight cards for America, it's like, oh, I'll just watch this on my couch, I guess, and like not have anybody to talk to about this. That's perfect for a fight companion. Jump in with us, watch it with us. And then I think it's UFC London. Is that the following day?
Yes, Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. You have Jan
Yes.
Blachowicz versus Carlos Oberg. That's
really
a
like
nice
that
step
fight.
up in competition. I love that fight. Holland
Yes.
versus Nelson. Molly Meatball McCann versus Alexia Tenaida. Jordan
Vucinic is back.
yes,
Hell yeah, dude.
versus Chris Duncan. Oh, Nathaniel Wood.
Oh, dude, Nathaniel Wood versus Morgan Chartier is actually a fucking insane fight. Jai
Dude.
Herbert versus Chris Padilla,
Chris
Padilla is also
Padilla.
very good. Felipe Dos Santos versus Loner Kavanagh. Padilla.
This is actually a good card.
Yeah, it's actually a very good card. I like a lot of these fights.
Yeah,
Loner
that should be very
Kavanagh
good. Hopefully
Felipe Dos Santos is very good.
Hopefully we don't lose any fights going into, huh?
Shout out HLB Comer. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out what the fuck we're doing for a stream. Because I'm gonna finish that fight card and go right into a fight companion to watch that. If you want, I'll stay up for our regular time, and do a recap right after the watch party ends. But I guess we'll have to figure that out off air and let y'all know. We're definitely doing a fight companion.
Yeah.
Starting midnight. And then we'll do a recap episode at some point talking about 172 and UFC London. HLB Comers, do you hear the Netflix rumors? Yes. I think that's kind of how I always thought it was going to go. The UFC probably going to partner with Netflix and get off of ESPN. I think that's probably the move. I wonder what they'll do with pay-per-view, because apparently pay-per-view buys are so bad that fighters are now changing their contracts and asking to get more upfront instead of pay-per-view points because nobody's buying pay-per-views anymore.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is. A shout out HLB Comer. Thanks for jumping on. Blunderbub. We had Evie join us as well. We had Ghost, James, Austin, the Jack Slack. Who else? Who else am I missing here?
We had Rio, Sammy. Yeah.
Look, dude, so many people to name. So I'm sorry if I missed
Toasty.
You. Oh, of course.
You
can't forget Toasty.
Win. Let's go.
Props to him again for his win. Ganscow. But yeah, y'all make it so much fun whenever you jump on to talk fights with us. So thank you. Reminder to everybody, if this is your first time tuning in, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're trying to reach 20,000 subscribers. If you don't like YouTube, you like other avenues, what would those be, Will?
Yeah, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube Podcast if you just want audio, but YouTube is definitely the way to go. And if you want to reach out on social media or follow us, stay up to date with us. Story of the Fight, at Story of the Fight on everything: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch. Story of the Fight everywhere. StoryofTheFight.com if you want the merch.
All right. And everybody might be wondering, how do they make this podcast happen every single weekend? It happens with our boy in the background. It's Richard. What about the cheese curds, Bustos in the background?